Good afternoon, and it's day 4 of our 21 minutes of 21 days to get us all moving in the right direction. So, thank you so much for being here. I hope everyone is well, and happy Thursday. The weather is improving, the sun is shining, and it's good that we're all here. Okay, still things as they move forward are opening up. Fantastic. People are still being careful and cautious, which is a really great thing. And, Dina Henshaw sent a letter, yes, to Mr. Bettman, suggesting they isolate together the players. So it looks like we're going to have some hockey to look at this summer. The playoffs, anyway, or the Stanley Cup, whichever. It's a moving target. Anyway, so we are here, day 4. We will be for 21 days, for 21 minutes. And today we're going to talk, focus on communication, effective communication, right? And we're a little late today because the internet went down. That's okay. It came back up. So we just have to, in every minute, every hour, it's all changing. So thank you so much. And today is Thursday, and we have Leo from the Scotiabank. So welcome, Leo. He's going to give us the Coles Note version, right? So hi, Leo. Thank you.
Hey,
Welcome.
Sally, how are you?
I'm great. How are you? You look great. Blue is a good color for you.
Good, thanks. I'm just gonna align this so it's
Yeah,
more proper. I'm at TV
exactly.
studio. My cameraman has gone missing. I think he's
I know.
on a
My
furlough.
makeup artist has gone missing. My engineer has gone missing. There's no help at all. But here we are.
Here we are.
I'm so sorry. Thank you for being patient. These technology things. Yeah, I couldn't get internet on my laptop. I'm streaming from the laptop, not the desktop. But every minute is exciting. So we just embrace every minute. However, and welcome to your first version of 21 minutes for 21 days.
Love
Got
it.
Sally, get Sally. As we move forward, right? Things are changing still every day, and for the positive, it would seem. And I'm always excited to hear from you about what's going on in the investment community. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Great. Well, thanks, Sally. Thanks for having me. I like the expression that you use, which is moving target. It seems like everything this year has been a moving target. And the investment side has not been any different. It's really gone all over the place. We started the year great. We've had some changes regards to COVID, as we've talked before, and the oil price wars. We talked about that as well. And now we are looking at a Thursday where, if you look up market news right now, there's a series of news items. And I'm not a big news guy because news only has two ways as it pertains to the stock market, and your investment portfolio is many times quite different from the stock market. But the news outside right now is, if you look it up, it's there's restored investment confidence. The expectation as far as a market struggle is that the expectation on the markets is that the shakedown, or most of the shakedown, is in the past. And I had mentioned it before that markets change not because markets change not because what's going on in the moment is changing, but in anticipation of a future change. So in anticipation of a rally, or in anticipation of a decline. So what we have today is on the market side is again another day of the strong markets. And I don't like to stick to predictions, so I'm not even going to talk about that. But what I am going to say is that what it looks like is a little bit more of that now, 2 steps forward, or maybe right now 3 steps forward, and maybe we'll have 1 or 2 step back going on in the future as things change, or maybe not. But this is certainly positive news on the market side. Now, when it comes to financial planning, what does this mean for somebody who's looking at perhaps looking at their current investments and trying to decide what to do with them? Maybe the shakedown was quite scary, and now their investments have recovered a bit. And where do we go from here? And my advice is always have a plan. Shop your plan. We shop for everything. Just looking at some cycling shoes, and I went to 3 websites. And so have a plan. You can shop your plan. I can offer a review on that. And I'd be glad to provide a second opinion, but more so right now might be the time to take a look at those investment holdings, and see if they're really on track with that plan, and see if the shakedown that we just encountered or had to endure sat okay with you as an investor. I know personally that that I know that personally, for example, I have a relative who wasn't okay with the way that the shakedown affected their investments, and more so the feeling of concern that they had through that time. That investors, that relative is not here in Canada, so they're away. So I told them to give them some advice in relation to that. So that's kind of what I have to say for now as far as advice. I was trying to keep it short, trying to provide a Coles Notes version. On the global side, yesterday there were some, a little bit of a, while the North American side had those 3 steps forward this week, the Chinese and the Brazil side had a few of those steps back, but that's expected in the times that we're living. I think it's going to kind of be a little bit of a cautious scenario, and that's why it's important to have your investment holdings aligned and managed with something that makes sense for your specific plan.
That's very, very good advice. So what I got from that, as you can see, I posted up on the banner, communication is key. Pick up the phone, talk to an advisor. I think today's message is really about communication, right? You're not going to make this move forward unless you actually take a little action. And, it's just, for me, so incredible what just making a phone call can do just to get it started down the road, right? So I know that every day can be overwhelming and there's so much to do. I fall into that too. There's, you're crisis managing a few things and you're making calls, etc. But I think it's right. Make a list and stick to the plan. Start, move forward for sure. And of course, even if you don't watch the news, have you ever noticed how somebody's going to tell you something and before you know, at the end of the day, you're hearing it?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's true. I think a lot of people have seen some from where it was 2 months ago. It's incredible. It's hard to believe it's been so many weeks, right?
Yeah, it's been a lot of weeks. It has been in many ways, it's been a quick recovery given the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
We're all kind of, looking at it and we're all looking.
Oh, of course. For me though, I go back, 10 weeks ago or however long, we've all lost track. But, there was a huge sell-offs, remember back, right? That's what I would call it. That's your area of expertise. But you have to, as a layperson, if people sold off trillions of dollars, where is it? They have to put it back somewhere. So is it simplistic for me to think that it's going to maybe go back into the market? And that's what we're seeing. If people are, the big sell-offs, they're putting it back in. So it's driven a lot of things. So things do recover, right? And I think what I've learned from you over the last many weeks is, panic is not a great thing, right? Panic. And slow and easy still wins the race. And I had this discussion last night again with a friend, right? We're sitting on a home that's clear title. And if you want to create, some future, and yes, portfolios have rebounded or recovered. I remember a discussion with her where, oh my God, all my gain is gone. but my principle is still there. But now the gain is back. But
Yeah.
let's talk about how we create future gain. That's my big thing. So I think it's, today the primary, message I want to get out there still, it's very important to communicate and exchange information and data. Even when, on my side of things, it's really about, people that want to sell, move, buy, move. Yesterday my message was, and in the past couple of days, it's how do we create confidence in crisis? And how I believe we do this is by speaking to experts like yourself, correlating data, but getting it communicated to us in basic English or whatever language, but in a simplistic term. Because every industry, I always shake my head, for example, in this technological world that we're streaming in, when I speak to people in this industry and the terminology they use, I go, come on, there's got to be a basic English word I understand.
Yeah.
It's basic on off. Is it on off? Is it on? Is it working? Right. So yeah, I think communication is key right now. And we're seeing people, as well, yesterday somebody said to me, oh gosh, I should have listened. I should have bought that 2 months ago. Well, yes, if you'd bought it 2 months ago and it had rolled back, you would have regretted it. So it's really about medium to low risk, depending on your risk tolerance, correct?
Yeah, it's important to have your risk tolerance match your plan, and vice versa. And I think a lot of people get seduced by the idea of a quick turnaround. But just like real estate, a quick turnaround has its risks. And a quick doubling of a transaction, doubling your money in a transaction has its risks, and it tends to be higher than something that's a bit more secure, and maybe not as attractive on the return side. But I think that's important, is preservation of capital in that. And now, don't get me wrong, there's people who like the massive growth, or who like even gold holdings. There's an asset mix for everybody. But I do find, in my experience, that just like when you look at the way that homes are built and how they're designed,
Sure.
they have the master bedroom, they have the bathrooms, they have the smaller rooms for the kids. Well, they're of a type of size typically, and they range, but they're kind of in that same range. Well, that exists because what fits the customer preference tends to be similar across the board, and that's why you don't get a very skinny tall house that's there's regulations, but like some weird thing. It's because, well, that doesn't seem to fit the mold for most of things. So what I'm trying to say there, very loosely, is that on the risk side, most people want something that's going to give them the return that they need for their retirement or for their goal, with not a lot of risk. And that usually is a moderate approach.
Good advice. What a great analogy, right? It's true, right? The accommodations that you need may not fit the masses, but it's designed and created for you based on your needs, right?
Yes.
There's no point in one person living in, I mean, you can. It's an option in 15,000 square feet. However, it's personal. So you designed the investment to suit your level of risk. And, I like that word. It's preservation. How do we move forward? Because, it's Thursday again for Leo. The weeks are so fast. So weeks turn into years, 52 weeks in a year. It's already the end of May. We're almost 2020. We're halfway through. So, I mean, I think a 5 and 10 year plan is so easy to see and it's not that far out, and it happens faster than we all know. So we really need to, focus and look at these things, look at other ways, because then, your home is your home, and if it's paid for, that's wonderful. You don't have to worry about it. But then we've touched on these things before. At the end, it's really about, what do you want to leave? Do you want to leave a legacy? Also, when you have to move from there, it's setting things up to look after you in the future too, because the cost of, caregiving for seniors, we know, is astronomical. In addition to what, we live in a decent environment in Alberta. Some of it is subsidized. You hear all different kinds of stories. So you have to have a plan in place. It's huge. I mean, I think you have to budget at least $60,000 a year just to look after one person.
That
Because
sounds
I hear
about
the
right.
stories, it's $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, right?
Yeah.
In addition to, if you want to go into a private facility, if you're waiting for a totally subsidized unit, it could take a long time depending on your needs. And then the other thing I'm encouraging clients to think about, how do we stay in our own residence until the end, right? Provided that, we don't need extraordinary, right, medical help. So for me, it's saying this to people, because there was a time not long ago, right, where it was about, okay, I'll retire, I pay off my house, and then I'll sell that and be able to live on that. But a lot of people too still want to leave some sort of legacy. And I think it's a situation where, I still love that you told us, 100,000 can be 200,000, even in a medium to low risk situation, if you set up the right plan. So
That's right.
Yeah, I'm just reiterating a lot of things we've learned from you, and I can't, I express enough how people need to just pick up the phone and make a call, right? And I've repeated that. I spent 3 hours shopping for a piece of equipment
That's right.
to save.
People don't look at the time.
Yeah, but I don't even spend that kind of time talking to the bank or the banker or my investment specialist. See, that's what we need to do. We need to turn it around and in reverse, right? So, but Leo, it's interesting as we move forward. Everyone is now condensing things, and I'm so thrilled that you committed all these weeks and you're here every Thursday. And that means, I subscribe to, if we reach and touch one person, we've made a difference, because I still believe one person has has influence over 15 people. So, but I thank you again very much. And I really still need to, what happened? The camera. 1 second. I lost my camera.
Okay.
Hang on. Oh, I'm back. See, technology. But you can still hear me when the camera disappears.
I could, yeah.
Oh, good. But honestly, it's Thursday, Leo, and tomorrow is Friday. And could we schedule an appointment after next Thursday, like next Thursday's, okay? Because there were a couple of things that I mentioned that I think that we need to explore and would like to do.
Yeah.
And I did have a chat with my young grandson, who's just starting. He's very, very young. And I had another discussion with him.
That's the best way to do it.
Okay. And I said to him, honey, I want you to be 65, and you will be 65, God willing.
Yeah.
And but then I reminded him that I could remember the day he was born, and in June 20th he will turn, I think it's 23, and it went that fast. Okay, so that is an absolute must, and I think that he went ahead and opened something, but it has 0 in it. Okay, so maybe that's something now we're hoping that you can help manage forward. Okay. So, I think all we have to do is provide you with what that is, correct?
Yeah, yeah, a statement would be good
Okay.
if you
And
have it,
then
or
you
and
can
we'll go
take
from
it
there.
from there. And just to remind everybody, we're talking about a young man who is working full time. He works very, very hard. And I've been attempting to brainwash him on, this few less coffees a month. I won't name companies. And a few, it's just so easy to find, you know, and then, I talked to him again about this so-called matching program. I think grandparents need to help grandchildren work towards things. So rather than here's a big lump sum, let's start you off here. But why don't we, based on what you save annually, match what you save? Wouldn't that be amazing?
There's an incentive there.
Yeah, there's incentive. And it could be a way to actually zero down your grandparents' money right away if you're saving your own annually. But yeah, no, it's Leo. I can think of so many people that really need to actually, if we can figure out, we talked about this, get into a room. More and more
Yeah.
people are attempting these room things. Our industry yesterday, there were over 500 people on a Zoom meeting. Okay. It had some glitches with it, but we were able to see the moderators. We were able to type in questions and things like this. So I really think that we need to continue to work forward. I'm creating a list of people who would like to be part of it. And I'm not sure if you've touched base with John recently.
I did today, yeah.
Okay. And how is he doing? I spoke to him on Monday.
Yeah, he's doing well.
He was here Monday. And I keep saying, listen, federal government, thank you for adjusting the mortgage qualifying rate to 5.04%. But honestly, people's hands are still tied in Alberta, right? The rest of the country has a long ways to go if it's falling. But in Alberta, we need to help people move forward. So maybe you could lift the qualifying rules in Alberta and allow the odd Albertan that wants to move forward, buy a home, keep working 2 jobs. So I have a question for John too. We have a client whose credit score is very good. I messaged Sean yesterday, and who doesn't quite have the down payment. So we're checking on the cashback program and various different things, and they do want to make a decision. So we're trying to get people to move forward, right?
Yeah.
In what we call a crisis situation. Would you advise people? I mean, we've all come out of it's kind of a shock, wouldn't you say? We have to get over a shock of what occurred.
I think there are yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot of unsettled business that everybody is going through. Regardless, my perception, or just with the people that I talk to, is regardless, they talk a lot of people, and everybody seems to do something different. Like I talk to you. I talk to other entrepreneurs. I talk to people who work in the healthcare field, people who work in oil and gas, people who are educators, people who work for the city, architects. So like there's all these people, but everybody seems to be going through their version of this struggle, and I think that there is a lot of unsettled business in people's mind, and it'll have different levels of gravity. There's the crowd that's has more advantage, perhaps a crowd that was able to work from home, that perhaps wasn't laid off and may have seen a decrease in income, or maybe not, but it's still the wheels are turning and life is not completely or severely affected. Then there's the people who have worked as first responders, and maybe they've seen and had struggles that are more pressing, PTSD and a few other things. So there's a wide gap. So I think that everybody's going through their version of assimilating the situation and what it might mean for the next period of time while this is still around and we don't have a blue pill or a red pill we can take to solve, to solve this.
Well, I think one way to solve it is just reaching out to people and talking to people and asking for help. I don't think there's anything wrong with asking for help. I don't believe it's ever a sign of weakness, right? Even no matter how educated you are, how old you are, how long you've been at it, right? There's still so much to learn and so much to understand. And, I apply all this stuff to myself. Like yes, we all say we should know better, but you know what? The best way to know better now is by taking action and just doing things, right? I don't think you hold it against your customers or your clients that pick up the phone and go, okay, I should know better. People mustn't be, I think a lot of times people just somehow they're embarrassed. And I don't think embarrassment has any, it has no business in being in anything that you are thinking. Okay. Right. Don't you agree? People shouldn't be embarrassed to go, okay, well, you're not going to go, well, my God, you're 50 and what have you done? Nothing. Well, let's get started.
That's right. When's the best time to plant a tree? It's
now.
Yeah, that's right.
You're ready and you get a shovel and you dig a hole and put it in. Yay. But you remember you have to water it daily. See? So it's really making a commitment. That's why one of the things that I had said earlier weeks ago to John is that, well, why can't we make it mandatory that they automatically debit their account and put in money in a savings and you're making the payment, we're putting it in the investment account. Like, why not? Save people from themselves. Yeah, I am. But I always like that. You guys have educated a lot of my clients and a lot of my friends and me as we move forward, right? Coming up with a little plan and implementing a plan and encouraging people to spend time and think about where they want to be. And, I think that there are lots of positive things that we're seeing already over the last 10 weeks or so and moving forward. COVID was a horrifying thing, but we're taking the positive things out of it. We needed to press stop for a second, I guess, just to reflect, right? I don't know if that's happened to you on a personal level too. How by the way, on a personal level, how are your family? They're overseas?
Yeah, they're good. Yeah.
Good.
I just spoke to my mom. She's doing well, and my sister's doing well. So, in Italy's okay. So that's all good.
Which is great. So hopefully the planes will start to fly, and you're going to get to see that lovely niece of yours.
That's right. Yeah.
And I do see the odd thing you post on social media. We talked yesterday about the importance of social media and how it will shape the future in terms, especially in terms of commerce, of course. And Andrew, who's quite the influencer and social media guru, he visited us for a few minutes yesterday. So social media is, I see some of the things that you've done. That was kind of cool. You're out in I don't know where, but pedaling the bike and whatever. So keep that up. And stay healthy. So I look forward to seeing you next Thursday. And if we could set aside some time right after our, 21 minutes and look at that. Do you see this? It's been so tough to go from 1 hour to 21 minutes. So I guess it's 1 hour to 30 as we move forward. I always have way too many questions, after a week, right? And it's just going fast. Well, I hope all is well. Continued success, Leonardo, at the Scotiabank. And I know that everyone is doing their best to move forward. And thank you. Stay well. God bless you. And thanks for being here. Any party video, call Leonardo. He's always available. His cell phone, he's disclosing his personal cell phone on our webinar, 780-782-0288. What a phenomenal person to have in your corner. Anyone that works with Leo will tell you, right? He cares. He really cares about you. And at Scotiabank, they say you're richer than you think. But I like to think at Scotiabank, they truly care.
That's right.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks, Sally. Thanks for having me. Have a
Oh,
nice
you're
have a nice
welcome.
Thursday.
All right, you too. Bye for now, Leo. And thank you guys. That was Leonardo Dieste. And today, the focus was communication is key. Pick up the phone and talk to your investment advisor at the bank, okay? And where Leo will go over your entire situation, right? From your real estate, your mortgage, your investment, the whole thing. It doesn't take long, right? And we're back to saying, yes, take an hour, which is nothing compared to what we spend time doing, for other things. We'll go to the greenhouse for hours to plant flowers. So, yes, plant a tree today for your future. Thank you all for being here. And yeah, I'm so sorry. We went over the 21 minutes. So 21 minutes, 21 days. And today was day 4. Tomorrow, I look forward to seeing you. Day 5, it's Friday. And on the weekend, we have some pretty interesting things coming up. On the weekend, it's going to be a little more social, right? So as we move forward, it's all about moving forward and sharing information that we gather along the way. Thank you so much. And I'm Sally Monroe with Century 21, and I will chat with you tomorrow. All the best. Bye for now. Thank you.